Hey everybody, welcome to the Artist Exchange. I'm your host, Bennett Shear. Really excited about today's artists. Please welcome Sam Moss and Gab Espinosa.
Hey.
Good here with you guys.
Sam, great to see you again. Had you on American Idol on air. And Gab, so cool to finally meet you. I want to hear how you met.
Go Sam.
Okay. Speaking of Go Sam, the amount of times that I've gotten a DM or a comment or something from Gab saying, Go Sam is unlimited. So that's familiar to me. But Gab was my college professor. He specifically nurtured my the strength in my voice and the confidence in my songwriting. I think it was really important to you as my professor to let me know that by using my own voice in a creative way in the world, I can make a living. And I don't think that before my time with you, I don't think I thought that was possible. So thanks. And it's good to reconnect with you today.
Indeed, it's always a good thing to have students, talented students. My job is to challenge them to go for their dream. And you have been one of them, because I remember in the classroom, we had a good group that year, very good group. In the classroom, we had 3 or 4 students that were really into music, into writing, into composing, into singing, and we talk about why don't we just concentrate on writing our own songs?
Mm-hmm.
What's the thing with you guys? You took the challenge, because when I saw that you guys had the talent, the eagerness, to work hard, and the dream, I challenge you. Well, let's stop singing covers and let's start singing songs that you guys write. And that's what you guys did that semester. And after that, I remember we got the idea of why don't we record those songs?
Mm-hmm.
And it got to a different level. Oh, now we're gonna record our songs. Yeah, because you have done your job. You have done, and you wrote many tunes that semester, not one.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the middle of the semester, I said, this stuff is going on. This is happening. So I need to move this a step further. And that's when we thought about recording these tunes in Chicago. And that's what we did. We took 4 students to Chicago and recorded their original music, and we made video. That was one of the best that I've done in my career at Central College. Take students to Chicago to a professional studio and record their own songs. They were singing their own songs, having a video that I still have today, and I can watch it, and it's still fantastic because you guys were hungry. And that's what 4 years later, one of them is in an American Idol because she pursued the dream, and the dream takes a lot of work, and you're paying the price. You're paying your dues.
You know what, though? You said it takes a lot of work, and that's really, really true. And I just want to rewind the clock to probably my junior year, where you were my music theory teacher. And I cried so many times that semester because you like, in my mind at that time, I thought, this guy he's hard, like he's critical, like he doesn't quit, he doesn't say, oh, that was a good try. No, like you are always direct. And I know now that I'm a little more grown up and a little bit more experienced, that directness was because we needed to be the best at what we were doing if we were going to do it. And if you saw that we were capable of doing great, you weren't going to sugarcoat it if we didn't. And that really hurt my feelings, but at the time. But now, like, I'm married to somebody who's also from a different culture, who also speaks in a really direct way. And I've learned that it's because, it's just because, like, you wanted us to meet our potential. And so thanks for doing that. But You didn't have to like make me go to therapy because of it. but you're right. And in that when you took us to Chicago to do that recording session, I remember that was the first time that I heard and saw professional musicians who weren't just a piano student like myself, like professional musicians, drummers, guitar players, the sound producers, like seeing how you create on the fly, or how you like listen for what's missing in the song, or how you balance certain sounds, or how you scrap ideas and totally try a different one. That was my first time witnessing something like that creative process. And now I think how crazy and full circle it is that literally because of that experience, I now do all of that myself. And I'm still learning, but how cool is that?
Yes, because you took a bite, you tested that thing that is magical. Like when you go to the recording studio and you feel that energy of being creative on the spot. No, number one, being prepared to go to the studio and then face the moment and live those magical times, magical seconds, minutes, when we're making the music on the spot with professional musicians, and take our music to a level that we had never imagined that we could get there with our songs that we wrote in that small classroom, Bella. And now we're hearing that stuff at this level. That's when you tasted the beauty, the magical of the recording studio of your own music. And once you tasted that, you said, this is what I want.
Right? Now, I have a question for you, because you're a performer and a teacher and a recording musician. So have you gone through phases in your adulthood where one of those things drives you with more passion than the other? Or do you feel like you balance the three equally?
I think sometimes my work at Central or Grinnell, when I'm teaching, goes through cycles of students, and I get a great momentum with the students. And then in a way, I have to put my professional life like on a second level, because my livelihood comes from teaching, right? So I concentrate on those students but that doesn't happen. I wish this could happen every year, but that doesn't happen every year. It happens once in a while. So when that happens, I put all my energy, like I did with you guys, and works out, and it's fantastic. And sometimes, sometimes you don't get the students that have the fire. Then I can spend more time. I'm always giving 100% where I need to give 100% at that moment, either school or my professional life, and that goes outside when I'm recording. When I have to do my recordings, I have to focus on that part of my life. Then I do it. Then I go to teaching. So I have to balance those two. But I've been, 27 years teaching, and I've been lucky enough to balance those two.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense with who you are. Of course, you're going to do whatever you're doing with 100% passion and focus. Okay, because I always pictured like your big trips to New York City to record with the greatest of the great. Like I just pictured that being this, like your little tiny Gab, like 7-year-old Gab, just looking at you doing these incredible things. I would just think that would be the most exciting part, but maybe that's because that's the most exciting to me. And maybe that's because that's what I enjoy doing.
Now that you mentioned that, of course, when I'm in the studio in New York, recording with those musicians, my original music, it is the most magical.
Mm-hmm.
Because that you're talking about making my music instead of having my students do their music, which is a different thing. But when you do it, like, because you have felt it, when you do your own, is the most beautiful thing, and the magical things that you experience in the studio is magical.
Now, a lot of things have changed in the music industry, even in the past 5 years, but like requiring a label, not anymore. Needing an actual studio, people don't need that anymore. We have at-home studios everywhere. Everyone's recording their own music for TikTok. People are getting discovered on TikTok. Negotiations are being made between TikTok and major record labels. There's this just big shift away from large companies and into the independent musician, the self-owned, self-made musician. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think I'm going with, in a way, I'm going with the flow of what's happening today, but at the same time, I'm still doing the things the old-fashioned way, because this new recording that I'm going to release in the summer of this year, in June and July, it was a project that I recorded basically in 2022. And I used both systems. I had some people recording at home that sent me tracks. And I had the opportunity to go to New York and record. All the rhythm tracks were recorded live in the studio with the musicians in the studio.
Yeah.
But I had singers, some of the singers recorded in San Antonio, in Pittsburgh, in New York, and they would send me the tracks. The magic of being in the studio recording with the rhythm section, I think, has no comparison.
I couldn't agree more.
You got to be in the studio with the piano, bass, drums, and piano.
I haven't been in a studio to record my own music since you took us, and I completely agree. I talk to my friends or my musician friends often about how, like, this process of being able to take things at my pace and being able to kind of have total control. I do like recording on my own, but yeah. But there's, like, I've really been missing performing with a band or recording with the energy of other musicians. Because just doing it in my office / nursery, where I know that this right here is my neighbor on the other side of the wall. Like, I don't feel that same freedom that I used to feel. So I really can relate to what you're saying.
And when you talk, one more thing you mentioned about the way you guys do things today, which is putting the music yourself. You don't need labels. I'm still the old fashioned, because I'm still using my New York City label, Soul Music, that release, albums during the year. So I'm still going through that system, because for people, I guess, my age, we still have that market. I like the idea of being part of a record label from New York. I like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
I like it.
Gab, I think I'm getting really curious with everything you add, hearing this dedication that you bring to your students, more about your background before you became a teacher, not just how you were a student of music, learning before you became the teacher, but just how you grew up, how you fell in love with music. I'm sure there's so much to this story, but I really want to get to know you before your students got to know you, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Thank you for asking, because I came from the streets. I learned music by ear. Mm-hmm. I grew up in Mexico, in Yucatan, Mexico, and my mother taught us the guitar. And we fell in love with the guitar, and we played when we were 7, 8, 9 years old. By the time I was 14, I had a band with my brothers, doing parties, weddings, you name it, playing 5 sets a night by ear. Everything we learned was by ear. So I was a musician that learned everything using my ear, not my eyes, not theory. Everything I was learning, until I got to the point that if this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life, I better get an education. That's when I changed the approach. And I came to the United States very late as a freshman. I was 23 years old when I decided to go to school to study music. And one of the greatest things that I brought to schools, even though I was late, is that my ear training was very good. Very good. So when I went, then my eyes got to be trained to read music. So that's why, I'm not a very good reader, because I started very late. But my ear has been saved my life. So I kept playing all those years of gigs and gigs and gigs for the love of music, not for the love of being famous, and not for the love of creating music and uh, presenting your music in concert, recitals, weddings, bars, you name it. Music, play music, make music. And then I went into the education. Had the opportunity to have 3 degrees in 3 different schools: Central College, Berklee College of Music, and University of North Texas. And then I came to Central College as a professor. And I had never taught before. I don't have a music degree, but I can from my heart. That's what I do.
And I was trying not to laugh when you were saying, I have the ear, I played by ear, because yeah, in our classroom, Gab, here's a typical class with Gab. We've got this huge stereo in the classroom, and he blasts like some 2012 country song that everybody knows, and our job is to find out what the bass line is and write out the lead sheet as we hear it. And this was new to most of us, and so we were questionable at it. And he's like got his hand over on the keyboard going, no, don't you hear it? It's it's A. And we're like, there's like 13 instruments here. I can't hear the bass. But yeah, that was not an understatement at all when you said you are good with your ear. And now, thankfully, I'm okay with it because of you.
Yeah, thank you. A pleasure. Yeah. Pleasure.
All you want to do is get better, right? That challenge, I'm sure, is embraced to keep evolving. I think both of you could probably attest to the fact that anytime you have to learn something new, it's a welcome challenge.
Always, always. We never stop, my friend. We never stop learning. We never stop growing as musicians. That's the beauty. When you play a sport, you might have a problem with age because your body is not going to function anymore. But when you're a musician and you're 20 and you're 30 and you're 40 and you're 50, you get better by the day, my friend. If you love that thing, which we do, you get better when you are 50. When you're 55, you discover new things. Always forward. Always forward.
I think for my experience, like the trickiest thing is integrating what my strengths have been in the past with what I'm learning right now, because maybe my vocal skills or my vocal strength or my vocal control has changed a lot since college. Because in college, I was singing every single day for like 6 hours a day during, whatever ensemble I was in or whatever I was practicing. So my voice was really, really strong in college. And I totally don't sing like 6 hours a day every day anymore. But I have put a lot of focus into how to market myself as a musician, sound production skills, balancing software instruments, like weird things that I had no idea how to do before. So for me, the challenge is not learning and moving forward, but it's learning and moving forward and bringing all of my skills with it.
It's beautiful. It's a journey, and it's good to see. You mentioned a keyword, the fact that you need to take care of business. You need to promote yourself. That's something that we artists, and I'm so glad to see you doing it, because nobody's going to do it for you. You have to be your agent. You have to be your performer, your composer, your writer, your piano player, your media person. You have to do it all. I'm a great singer. I'm going to wait to be discovered. No, you have to do everything. The other day, somebody asked me, who does your Instagram? I said, I do. Don't you have somebody? No, I don't. So you guys have to do it, but you are paying the price. And I love to see that. Look where you are today. Look where you were 5 years ago. Big difference. I want to see where you're going to be 5 years from today.
Me too. Now,
you see, things are going to go, they're going forward. They're moving forward. And you're making that happen.
Okay, but Gab, another reason why I align with your teaching and your methodology is because, in my opinion, it intertwines with like having faith and believing that things work out for you and staying focused and trusting that like God or the universe or whatever created us is taking care of us. And so I think that's something that I really admire about you is your really focused faith. Kind of sometimes I'm like, there's no way Gab is going to make this work. And he's like, look, got the funds. Let's go on a recording trip. I'm like, how did you get $10,000 for us to go record in Chicago? Well, I did it. Let's go. It's time for business. Like, so that's been helpful along the way too, is knowing that if I take the right actions with the right core intentions behind it, it should work out. And if it doesn't, it's because something better is coming.
You are right. And I'm glad to copy somebody that won the Super Bowl 2 days ago. And when you hear Mahomes talking, he says, the first thing he said, thanks to God for everything. So we are people of faith. So we go one way, and sometimes the door opens, the door doesn't open, is because we got to have faith that there's going to be another door.
This is how you described it to me one day. I just got a flashback in that office that you're sitting in. We were sitting down and you said, look, Sam, this is the trajectory of your life. It's moving, always moving, no matter what. And well, I can't make them both go. And this is opportunity. Okay. So you're supposed to grow as you go along your life, and opportunities will continue to come. And it's a matter of whether you rise to meet them or not, but they're going to always continue to come. And I thought, oh, that's kind of a cool way of looking at it. Like, yeah, I guess I lost my train of thought, but
you got to rise to meet them. You got to work hard to meet them. You got to be committed to meet them. Otherwise you won't meet them. So you got to work hard. That's what people don't understand today. They want it tomorrow. No, it takes years. It takes time. You got to work.
In a world of going viral, though, it can feel like it can happen.
I think, though, and I'm not the expert. I think none of us truly even know. With the TikTok thing hit so quickly, maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago. But even artists who go viral on TikTok, we don't truly know how sustainable that is, because, in the scenarios where we have seen examples of people becoming a star overnight, if they're not putting in the work right now and they just go viral overnight, what's going to happen in a couple of years is that going to run out, and they're going to have to start from ground zero, because we have this false sense of, oh, well, if I just am one of the lucky ones that gets chosen by the algorithm to be a pop star, all of a sudden, you might see what happens in a couple of years to some of these people.
Yes, that's such a good point, Bennett, because I saw this unfold when I did American Idol. Some people were aired and had clearly been have been building this foundation for a while. We're ready to take off. We're ready to be seen. We're ready to commit, like Lady K, for example. She's been writing her own music, producing it, making these bomb music videos, getting people excited about her work for who knows how long. And all of that build was met with her performance on American Idol. And so she's an example of somebody who has put in the work and is able to sustain her success or her exposure. Whereas some people audition on a whim, totally fine, have a great voice, cool, but you don't know what to do with it afterwards. Gab, have you missed your little pumpkin?
I know this is what the part of your life that you're living now is gold, my friend. It's gold. The most beautiful thing you have in front of you right now, right there. Enjoy it.
So cute.
Thank you. Okay, one other thing that was on my mind, Gab, do you think that musicians or songwriters have a fair chance at making a living, or do you think our work is undervalued when it comes to income?
We have to do many things. We cannot only do one thing, because this could happen tomorrow. This could happen in 5 years, but we still need to make a living. So we have to diversify, and continue writing, but we have to play, we have to produce, we have to do gigs. We got to do continue doing gigs, performing and writing, and then the doors will be open more and more the more we diversify, without losing the track of I'm a composer myself, but I have to do many things that integrate into my composition.
That makes a lot of sense. And that's how I have seen it done, is that in order to be a musician, you have to do everything. And I want to believe that it's possible to be an expert at one thing. So me, for example, I want to believe, as I'm raising my kids for the first 6 years of their life or so, I want to believe that I can become a total expert at writing custom songs for people. And I want that to be the thing that I am the best at. And therefore, to make a living on that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But remember, when we write songs, a lot of the songs we write they come from our experiences of our lives.
Yeah.
Experiences to write those songs. Because if I stay in my room and I'm gonna write a song, no, I need to have stories. So I'm gonna go out and leave a story and then reflect on that specific story and adapt it to my music. My experiences outside are gonna help me create those moments.
I see. So you're saying if I'm writing my own original music, I need to go live a life to give me something to write about.
Yeah. Or see for example, on this new album, I wrote a song called First Responders, for the people that were the first responders during COVID. So that moment created in me a song that had the feel, the mood of how would those people, how were they living those weeks that they were very hard. In New York City in March, in April, in May, that vibe. So that vibe gives us a mood, an inspiration to write something that I call First Responders. And lots of people, when they hear the songs, they can see the images of the first responders. So our experiences of coming from the outside world help us create those songs.
Which in turn foster connection and humanity and
yes. Yes. So again, diversify. There's, I'm a composer, I'm in composition, but I have to always be talking to people, reading, watching what's going on, and to get inspiration. I wrote a song called Amelia for a niece of mine that had twins, and by week 30 she lost one of them. And I wrote that song, and Kim Nazarian from New York Voices wrote the lyrics. And the lyrics and the song, it makes you weep because the story of the song. So those experiences in our lives become compositions.
I do know. Yeah. And that's really beautiful.
And I like what you're doing, because you're doing songs for people in specific situations, correct?
Right.
And they send you a situation.
That's magical, because you got to get yourself into that mood.
Yeah.
And then here's what I hear.
Yeah.
You told the story. This is what I hear. My niece about the baby. This is the music I hear. And Kim Nazarian talked to my niece so she could get the story, so she could write the lyrics.
See, so Kim did kind of what I do.
Yes, the lyric part. Yes. So all of that process, is about people. It's about people. We get inspired by people.
Wow.
Of course.
I'm inspired just by this conversation, you guys. This has been wonderful to sit back and listen to. And I want to hear a song from both of you. I want you guys to both send me a song so that I can play, so that listeners can hear you guys perform. I also want to give you the chance to talk about anything, Sam, whether it's the custom songs or any music coming out. Gab, anything from you? I know you mentioned music from last year. So whoever wants to go first, if you want to talk about what people can look out for from you.
Go, Sam.
Okay. Yeah. So if you head to Instagram, @sammoss_music, you will find most of the ins and outs of my daily songwriting career. I write music for any occasion, for anybody, anywhere. But what I'm most inspired by or most proud of is writing music for, this is kind of odd, but writing music for people who've lost a loved one. I feel like there's a piece in my soul that was meant for expressing heartache, and it just feels so like authentic to be able to help people express this balance between heartache and loss, and picking up the pieces and moving forward. And so you can go to sammossmusic.com and book a session with me, and we can meet and start your own custom song for whatever it is that you need.
Beautiful. Love it. Love it. My webpage, GabrielEspinosamusic.com. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. And I have a YouTube channel, Gabriel Espinosa, Iowa, where you can watch some of the videos that I make of different concerts. And I'm going to be releasing my 6th CD under the label Soho from New York this summer, with people that I've been admiring all my life, that were my guests, like the New York Voices, pianist Fred Hirsch, clarinet player Anat Cohen, and many, many other musicians. So look for that CD coming out this summer. And thank you for the invitation. And let's make music. Let's make music. Let's pray and make music for everybody to be happy.
Amen.
Amen. Sam, Gab, thank you guys so much for being a part of the Artist Exchange. Guys, stick around. We're going to play a song from each of them. I really want you to hear them perform. So thank you all so much. You can follow us at Artist Exchange Podcast. Make sure to check out at Idol Unaired Podcast from American Idol Unaired. Sam, you're a part of that podcast. We're going to link your episode in the show notes. So really, thank you guys. We really appreciate it. Have an awesome day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bennett.
Now I'm going to link both songs in the show notes. And first up, here's Gab with Adoro.
Adoro la calle en que nos vimos, la noche cuando nos conocimos. Adoro las cosas que me dices, nuestros ratos felices, los adoro, vida mía. Adoro la forma en que sonríes, el modo en que a veces me riñes. Adoro la seda de tus manos, los besos que nos damos, los adoro, vida mía. Y me muero por tenerte junto a mí, cerca, muy cerca de mí, no separarme de ti. Y es que eres mi existencia, mi sentir, eres mi luna, eres mi sol, eres mi noche de amor. junto a mí, cerca, muy cerca de mí, no separarme de ti. Y es que eres mi existencia, mi sentir, eres mi luna, eres mi sol, eres mi noche de amor. Adoro el brillo de tus ojos, lo dulce que hay en tus labios rojos. Adoro la forma en que suspiras y hasta cuando caminas yo te adoro, vida mía.
And now, here's Sam Moss with A Love Like That, written for Rod and Judy.
Consider myself lucky for getting 20 years with you. And maybe it sounds funny, but even though you're gone, you're with me too. And every choice I make, every prayer I say, every time I break, you still get me through the day. I consider myself lucky, 'cause if I don't, I've wasted all my time with you. You're my Energizer bunny, my bear, I'm your honey, kind of pair that fits just right. Yeah, the Sheridan, my sonny, you're my adventure buddy, take me out on a Tuesday night. Now I go right into the highest hill in the timber with the beer in my bag, trying to get any small piece of you back. And I thank God for giving me a love like that, 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 a love like that. These days feel like a mirror, pointing out everything you're missing. But the lesson's getting clearer, that God is giving me a second chance to carry you into everything I do, and to feel it truly deep inside my bones, to love and hold all the beauties of the ordinary, ins and outs of life as I grow old. And dear, I'll hold you close, 'cause you're my Energizer bunny, my bear, I'm your honey, kind of pair that fits it's just right. You're the share of my sunny, you're my adventure buddy. Take me out on a Tuesday night. Now I go right into the highest hill in the timber with the beer in my bag, trying to get any small piece of you back. And I thank God, yeah, I thank God for giving me a love like that, a love like that, a love like that, a love like that, a love